classes on Atma Bodha. We have just completed Tattva Bodha, an extraordinary text of definitions. Swamiji has taken us through this great text and explained all the definitions in great length and detail. Tattva Bodha is the basis for us to enter and understand the study of our Shastras. Atmabodha is a basic Prakarana Grantha and is studied after Tattva Bodha. The books that explain the terms and terminologies used in the Shastras are the Prakarana Granthas. Panchadashi, Viveka Chudamani, Tattva Bodha, Atmabodha are few examples of Prakarana Grantha. They only explain the Shastras and do not contribute any original thought of teaching. Vedanta is the science of life. So it explains the art of living, points to the ultimate goal of existence. Whereas on the other hand, Prakarana Granthas provide keys to enter the Shastras and make our life a success. Shankara Bhagavad-pada's life's mission was the reorientation of Hinduism. He initially wrote commentaries on our Shastras and also provided extensive devotional literature. He went on to the introductory books, introducing the theme of Vedanta for the new entrance into the spiritual world. Atmabodha is one of them. This book does not contribute any original idea of Shankara Bhagavad-pada. The ideas are picked from the Upanishad and strung in poetry with the help of unique and forceful similes. Atmabodha by Shankara Bhagavad-pada has 68 slokas in the Anushtup meter. If we look at the Tattva Bodha as the foundation of our Shastra, then we can say Atmabodha comprises the pillars. This implies that Atmabodha is more defined and precise as the pillars are visible to us. In each shloka, the first two lines give the teaching and the next two lines of each shloka have a simile. Each simile is a striking and powerful example, and this aids the newcomers in the study of the Shastras to understand and remember the teachings. These similes are meditation by themselves. With this understanding, let us enter into the study of Atma Bodha with Swamiji and take this up as Jnana Yajna. Now we will listen to Swamiji's words. Hari Om.
Shrutismritipuranamalayam karunalayam namami bhagavat padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Namo Narayana to everybody. After a short gap, we have again together to study the next Prakarana Grantha, Atmabodha. Now, Dr. Kamalaji has already introduced well the Atmabodha. So, it's being a Prakarana Grantha, so a small monograph of Vedanta, dealing with treating a particular topic. It means the introduction to Vedanta, or in the beginning, we have to know many terms and forms and practices of Vedanta. So these are all there in Tattvabodha and Atmabodha. Tattvabodha was especially treating the terminologies of Vedanta that we all already studied, the terminologies and the definitions of Vedanta terms. Now, this Atmabodha will illustrate all those terminologies little more, specifically, particularly, the practice of Vedantic meditation, that is Atma Jnana, so the knowledge of Atma. Bhagavan Sankaracharya illustrated this knowledge in many textbooks, especially in Bhashyas, his well-known commentaries. But in Bhashyas, we have to understand the all other terminologies, especially of the 6 schools of thoughts. We say the 6 philosophies of Indian philosophic system. We will study those later, but now what we have already studied in Tattvabodha, Shankaracharya ji will give more details and regarding practice. So that is the book we are going to study. So you know the shlokas of the books and other details that we will learn later. Now, this textbook is named Atma Bodha. Atma Bodha. What does it mean? Bodha means knowledge. Atma means self, consciousness. This is what we know. So this can be called as self-knowledge. Atma Bodha, directly speaking that. Now, what is this self? How we recognize the self? What is the experience of self? So we will just think about those things as an introduction to Atmabodha. Then we will try to understand the subject, all the subjects discussed in 68 slokas as a preliminary understanding of the subject matter in this. Now, today I thought of speaking on this Atma Bodha because Atma we already know. We know it is eternal, all-pervading, its consciousness, self-consciousness, self-awareness. It is non-dual, where there is no absolute absence of difference. So where there is no difference, Advaita, it is the innermost experience. This is all we define Atma in different ways. Now, when we think about ourselves, what comes to our mind is the thought process. Normally, we understand ourselves as we think. When I think, I am a human being. So I am a human being. So this is the reason we can say why we experience like that. So we make all the conditions with this thought process. So we must know what is the difference between thoughts and the self, the core experience of awareness of self. So the difference between thought and self. So thought, we know already how one thought is produced. When we think about an object, the thought is produced. The object sometimes outside, sometimes in memory. In either way, the object is produced there. When we visualize an object, we experience that object. This is what the experience is called. The experience. This is my experience. It means I have an experience of an object. So it is very obvious to say thought process is based on an object. It is centralized with an object. Therefore, when we think about this, the modern science only counts objects, entertain objects. They are doing all their research and meditation and revealings and all this. They are doing with the objects. So therefore, the subject who is the witness of this, the awareness itself, is not known through thoughts, by thoughts. So when there is an appearance of an object outside or inside, the thought process is produced, it's already produced. When I say an object, so this an object, the word itself is producing a thought in you. There is no need to say any name. If name is there, yeah, it is good. Then you can imagine that name. Otherwise also, with just saying that an object, the thought is produced, is already produced. Therefore, it is very difficult to separate the thought process and self-awareness. Because thought process is somewhat, we can say, is covering or concealing the self-awareness. So we have no gap, no time to experience the awareness of self. Immediately, thought process is carried away. Then whatever there in that thought, object of what you like or dislike, it makes all the process there. If you like the object, you may experience again another thought process, which is happiness, the emotion of happiness. If the thought carries an object of unlike, then you experience unhappy. So this is what is happening. Now, where is the chance of self-awareness? So therefore, one should meditate on this, to study, to know what is Atma Bodha, the awareness of self. Now, we have already in the last sessions of Atmabodha, I have seen that Sat, Sit, Chit and Ananda. It means existence, consciousness and bliss is the core nature of self. We call it Swarupa Lakshana. So here, then how this thought process comes without this awareness? How this thought process can work without this awareness? You see, one infinite consciousness which is everywhere. this consciousness is reflected in that thought construction. When thought is produced, it means the thought is produced, I mean to say, the activity of brain, which modern science can see and understand and define. They recognize the activities of brain as the existence of self. So it means for us it is object, because there is an activity which is produced and reduced and destroyed, appear and disappear. It cannot be eternal. It doesn't stay constantly. So this manifestation of thought reflects the unmanifested infinite consciousness, the reflected consciousness. So the reflected consciousness is called the empirical being or limited being. Now you have to remember the infinite consciousness, all-pervading consciousness is unlimited. It cannot be made limited. But when thought is produced in us, only by then thought is produced, when the reflection is there. So when the reflection, when thought is produced, we feel that we know. I repeat this. When one thought is produced, we feel that we know. When I say I know, I know. So this I know comes when the all-pervading consciousness, the complete awareness, is limited with the thought process. So this we can say, this is an opening out of consciousness. It means the consciousness itself is in the stage which is experienced indirectly. Normally we say directly, but actually when the thought is there, an object must be there. If the object is there, the reflected consciousness is indirect. So to say, the all-pervading pure consciousness is opening out itself in the thought. That is we call thought. It means that is my understanding, that is my awareness, that is what we experience as an object. So this complicated process, the difference between thought is, now we just say clearly, thought is an activity of brain. Let it be an activity of brain. Okay. In that activity, the self-awareness, which is infinite, is made finite, is made limited. Then my self-knowledge comes. Then I say, I am a human being. Then I say, I am. The personality, the ego comes. So then I say, I am speaking. I am a speaker. I am a listener. I am thinking. I am working. So you add on activities there. It is all that is reflected there. Now, in this process, the inherent nature of self, as I said in the beginning, the inherent nature of self is missed. There is no chance to get the awareness of that self there. We get only the awareness of an object. So this is what the difference between thought process and the self. Now, where we can experience this? How can we locate this? This can be located in the deep sleep experience. We have already elaborately understood this analogy with direct experience. So here I mean to say direct and indirect. Please take note of this. When I say direct, it means there is no thought process and there is no object in between. When I say indirect, there is an object. There is a thought process. So this Atmabodha ought to have as an experience of direct experience. It cannot be indirect. Now we have to find out where we have direct experiences. Which are our direct experiences? The empirical experiences with the objects cannot be direct experiences because I already told you, because of this thought process, it is indirect. It is already out of your awareness. It's reflected, it is limited. So only in two states we experience this direct experience of Atman, Brahman. When there is no thought process, all the thought process produced disappear. That is called samadhi, the highest state of deep meditation. And the second experience is, of course, the deep sleep, because there is no thought process. But here, I don't mean there is no function of brain. Medically, there is function of brain, but it is so much reduced. It's like you have no objective knowledge there. No objective knowledge, only subjective knowledge. So, due to its very nature, the self is always Sat, Chit, Ananta. So Vedanta deals with this self. The Atmabodha going to discuss this. And it's sometimes when we meditate on this, in our state of deep meditation, this awareness can come. We can experience the ultimate freedom. You see, when there is no thought, no objects, no emotions, you are free. You are free of everything. So the ultimate freedom is this. The Atma, the self, is free from all this. Therefore, to support this knowledge, we need to find some evidence. Now, what can be the evidence? We cannot give any external evidences. We cannot give any external evidence here. So you are the evidence for yourself. I know, so I am. I know because I am. So what is the evidence? It's my own existence is evidence for me. So this is the beingness of Atma. I am and myself. Again, the thought process comes. So this beingness of Atma has two forms. One is connected to thought process and ego, and another form is without thought and without ego. So the second form is the real form, which we call as Brahman. The first form, unreal, that is called Jiva, the limited consciousness. Jiva, reflected consciousness. So this experience, when we just think about this experience itself is absolute. This experience is has no differences, no separation, because limited can be separated each other. Unlimited cannot be separated. So when you have the second level of knowledge or experience of self, which we call as the real beingness of Atma. So you are not separated from anything, not only from other beings, but also from this creation. So this knowledge is being discussed here in all these tiny treatises of Vedanta composed by Sankaracharya. He takes Atmajnana is the foremost science of all the knowledges. Therefore, even in a single sloka, he delivers the knowledge of self. So here we will learn the 68 slokas. 68 slokas. Out of those, the first one and the last one is we can call invocation slokas. The first invocation and last invocation. And in between, there is some discussion about universe and the creation of universe and how this universe is created and all those is there. And the second sloka itself, Sankaracharya states that the direct cause of liberation is self-knowledge, what we just now discussed. The action cannot destroy ignorance. Action means karma. Any kind of karma. It may be spiritual or material or any kind of karma. The karma cannot destroy ignorance. Therefore, the self-knowledge gives liberation by this way, when it frees you from one level to another level. It takes you from limitation, limited awareness or limited consciousness to unlimited consciousness. So that is liberation. So this is the difference. Self-knowledge takes you from limited awareness to unlimited awareness. That awareness, unlimited awareness, is called liberation. That is moksha. So this is discussed in this. And by the way, there will be discussion of real and unreal. Now, how to separate this? This is another big deal. How can we separate real and unreal unless we have no experience of reality? So that would be another discussion. What is real, why it is real, and other than what we see, whatever we see, that would be considered as unreal. Unreal means we don't say there is no existence of an object as unreal. Unreal means it is not the ultimate real. It is not reality. It appears to be real. It appears to be as a substance, but it is actually not. So this will be discussed. And as just now Kamalaji told you, in this Atma Bodha, Sankaracharya ji beautifully, deliberately gives many analogies. Each stanza, each sloka has one analogy. The first line, the subject, and mostly the second line or the last part of sloka will be an analogy. So when we discuss about real and unreal, obviously the dream state and the other experiences is compared. The waking state and dream state. So this comparison and analogy will be there. And how this world is appearing as real. What is the reason? We know that because of ignorance, this world is appearing as real. So the appearance is not denied. So please understand this point. We never deny appearance. Everything is there as you see. It appears. And it gives some experience, some taste. Outside objects as well as the objects inside the mind. Both, if you separate both, it appears. Even happiness and unhappiness is an appearance. So this we will discuss later. And then the slokas will continue to say, all this appearance is superimposed. And this word you already know, mithya jnanam. So superimposition. It means each person, each mind has different impositions, different experiences. Why that? What is the reason for that? The reason is each mind has different tendencies. Each mind has different thought process. Then the superimposition is also different. So this phenomenal world, which is superimposed by each one of us, is different for each one. It is not the same. So there is a chance of arguments. There is a chance of debates, acceptance and non-acceptance. It is amazing how we do all this. How this process happens. So then the 9th sloka, we learn that in 9th sloka, another beautiful analogy of Akasha. To establish non-duality, Sankaracharya ji, in all his works, he brings Akasha, the space. So this is, we can say, the only analogy which deals directly with this self-knowledge. The all-pervading self, which is pure existence, pure consciousness, bliss, is limited with ubadhis. What is the meaning of ubadhi? If you remember from Atmabodha, the limiting adjuncts. Okay, ubadhi means this Sanskrit word. You can pronounce and practice. Limiting adjuncts. So with limiting adjunct, the space has different names. All this is same with Atma. With the limiting adjunct of the walls inside the room, we call the room as room. So everything is limited and named because it is limited with the upadhi. So with this, how the unlimited all-pervading consciousness or existence is made limited. Now you see, how can we say this limitation is real? If you just think about that, there is no reason to say this limitation, the limited experiences are real. It's clearly superimposed or illusory understanding. When we analyze this, there is no reason, or we cannot say this is right. We understand that it is wrongly understood. So this understanding, one can really understand that my all understanding is wrong understanding. So now, what is this? It means this all appearance. For our day-to-day experience, we take all this into consideration. We are in that practice. Therefore, we only see what is limited, or we are used to see that. We only experience the limiting adjuncts. We make them real because we don't want to deal with unreal objects. If somebody say what is seen outside is unreal, what would be your reaction? So we don't want to neglect our own experiences. We give so much reality or so much interest to experience those experiences. So this we will discuss that. Now, when we talk about upadhis, this limiting adjuncts, we must talk about this physical body, Karana Sharira, Sushma Sharira, and Sthula Sharira. We already know this. Here, only the name and just a small definition will be given. The detailed discussion we already had. Sthula Sharira, physical body, Sushma Sharira, subtle body, and Karana Sharira, causal body. This will be discussed on 11th, 12th, 13th, all these slokas. Again, little discussion on Panchakoshas. Panchakoshas. So we know already Panchakoshas, 5 sheets of false identification. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya. Now you see how many places you have identified yourself. How you are limiting yourself with this upadhis, this sheets of limiting adjuncts. So when we are in waking state, normally we identify ourselves with the physical body. So I am this physical body. So I am this. And in dream state, with the mental body, the mind and intellect together. So all these experiences, we know this. Again, further, Atma can be known only through this analysis. So now, if everything is part, body, mind, intellect, ego, nothing is there. Now, what is the meaning to know Atma? No. How can you know real something which is real through unreal? How can we know Atma with these agents which are false identification? Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all these. So this will be discussed from sloka 16 to 90, 20 like slokas. So how can we take intellect as a medium, as a mean to know Atma, to do all these mananams? So this is a subject discussion there. And then, of course, the mind and its characteristics, they are discussed. The attributed characters, whatever is there in the mind, it is discussed further. Again, the true nature of Atma, the 23rd to 25th sloka. And then the separation of viveka, of false knowledge and the true knowledge. In viveka of Atma and Anatma. The Anatma, how Anatma is objectified, we have just discussed when we, in the beginning, the difference when we discussed the difference between thought process and the self-awareness. So that will be repeated there. Now, all these experiences we have with the knowledge of Atma, we cannot say there is no knowledge of Atma. Because the Atma is always there. There is no absence of Atma. There is absence of thought. There is absence of objectification. But there is no absence of Atma with body, without body. Atma is always there. With awareness of body, without awareness of body. Atma is always there. Therefore,
Atma is all illuminate. Atma is Prakasha. Atma is pure consciousness. Therefore, whatever adjunct added to it seems to be different from it. When I say I know this, I know this. So the this an object, this as an object is separated from me. So this separation happens because we identify ourselves with the existence of Atma there. So the object is not an experience of Atma. So here you see, we are separating our experience of Atma and experience of object. So here is something very interesting, the subject we can discuss. The interesting thing is, this we have, we know this very clearly, that I am the experiencer, the object outside is experienced. I am not the object. But the problem is, we are not aware that Atma is never be an object. This is not there in our awareness. We are not taking care of this. So therefore, we are still searching for Atma. Who is this Atma? What is this Atma? The search is on. It means we are trying to make Atma an object. But it cannot be. We will search for this for our all life, maybe many lives, but will not find Atma as an object. So this secret of Vedantic experience, with the separation of the object and subject, the subject cannot be made an object. So now we should stop our inquiry as an object, because Atma cannot be made as an object. Atma cannot be made an object. So the removal, Atma cannot be understood as an object. It means whatever sadhana we practice is all with the objects outside or object with the mind. The objectification process continues. Now, when I say we have to stop this, it cannot be stopped like that. It is impossible to stop like that. Here, when we see an object, make the awareness of subject there, Atma there. That is the process we can do. As I said, when I say I know this, so this is separated. It means I am there. I know I am there. This is me. So the object is reflected, Atma, the self-knowledge only. Object is reflected self-consciousness. So seeing a book, I can say this is book. Why? Because I know this. My consciousness is reflected as book. So this is the practice of awareness, self-knowledge, Atma Bodha. It is said, well said in Kenopanishad, Pradibodha vididam madam amridatvam hi vindate. Beautifully described there. In each thought, by each thought, you know Atma. The self-knowledge is there. So the we cannot stop objectification because that is a process of brain, mind. When we are in waking state, we are in dream state, this has to happen. We cannot stop that. But that objectification can be made the awareness of self there. So this is what we are trying to do in meditation. We are not trying to see an object in meditation, but we are trying to see how the awareness of object is there within me. How I am aware about that object. So this self-meditation technique of oneness is discussed from shloka 13th shloka to 33. The self-meditation, how we can meditate on self. No, you must be remembering, we have discussed this in Atmabodha as aham and mama, I and mine. So I am, that is the awareness of myself, and which is connected to me. So what is connected to me is separate from me, and I know that as an object. This we have discussed. That was another type of meditation. Here, what I said, it's self-meditation through objectification. So what is objectified, that is there. We are not removing the objects. It is not possible. So what is possible is, when we objectify, we can get the awareness, or we can bring the awareness of ourselves, can bring that thought. So when I am seeing the screen in front of me, my first thought is, I am seeing this screen in front of me. So it goes, all concentration goes to the object, the screen there. But actually, because I am here, because I am aware, the screen is there. I repeat that. The first thought is, I am seeing the screen. Because screen is there, I am seeing it. This is what the normal thought, right? Now, the real thing is, because I am, so the screen is seen. Because of my existence, because of my awareness, this screen is seen. Not the screen is there, so I am seeing it. So this is the difference. So this is called self-meditation. So we will discuss this. And after that, immediately after that, the nature of self again remembered. This awareness is called consciousness, and that consciousness is limitless because there is no limiting agent, limiting agents to limit it, make it limited. Okay, so therefore it is all pervading. Therefore it is limitless. Now, for all this, as we know, we have to practice intensely. This self-awareness technique is very practical if you take it in this way. Normally we try to remove all the objects from our thoughts. So drishya and drik, this is called in another terms, seer and see. That is only separating seer and see. Only separation is there. But here not only separation. Here we add something to it that we feel because of my awareness, because of my experience, because of my existence, this object is seen, this thought process occurs. If there is no awareness, if there is no existence, then how can it happen? So this is not only seer and see separation, seer and seen separation, subject of object separation, but through that we are getting the real awareness of self. So this is a practice here. So regarding that practice, some techniques and things are discussed from sloka 37 to 43. All these slokas. Now, someone can ask, if only with this self-awareness one is liberated, then what is the need to say destroy ignorance? No. For it to destroy ignorance, we are trying to get knowledge, self-knowledge, Vedantic knowledge. The knowledge destroys ignorance. Now, what is the need to destroy? If there is something to destroy? No. If the self-awareness is there, everything is there, then what is the need to destroy? So this is a very crucial question, which is discussed there in 44, 45, 46 slokas. So there is a need to destroy ignorance, or especially deal with ignorance. And this practice of knowledge, meditation, what we discussed just now, can lead to the highest level of awareness. That is true. Yet we have to deal with ignorance. The reason is there are previous tendencies, previous vasanas, which appears in different forms. Therefore, the ignorance and its distraction or understanding is necessary. Now, after this, the last part of Atmabodha, usually in all this Vedantic textbook, you have seen in Atmabodha as well. The last part will be the experience of the knower or Jivan Mukta. So we have discussed in Atmabodha, the same thing we will repeat here. The Jivan Mukti, Jivan Mukta, the experience of knowledge, who have experienced it. So the experience of Jivan Mukta is discussed from the sloka 47 to goes up to 55, 56. All these slokas. Then the last part again will conclude with the goal of Vedanta as Brahmajnana, the self-knowledge, knowledge of Brahman. And this can be achieved by getting knowledge through self-purification, the purification of physical body, prana, mind, and actions. So all the normal practices, normal sadhana, those are also discussed. And then at the end, the conclusion, the Atma is realized. When we say Atma is realized, the awareness is realized. In which part of the body you feel the experience? Now, actually, Atma is all pervading. It means the knowledge of Atma, the experience of Atma must be all pervading. But when the experience comes to the mind, the feeling would be in your heart. So this is a yogic process, we can say. A process which gives you the way how you are going to experience. So the Atma, although it is all pervading, Atma is everywhere, but it is realized. The feeling of Atma is in heart. So Hridaye, Hridayam, Kriti, Ayam iti Hridayam. So this is defined in Upanishad. So this Atma is realized, or its feeling is experienced in heart. So if you want to say in connection with the physical body, the experience of Atma is in heart. So by these words, the Atma Bodha will be concluded. The conclusion, invocation will be there, and this is the subject matter. Just I summarize the all discussion. So all those subjects we have discussed in Atmabodha is, in the Tattvabodha, all those subjects are somewhat repeated here in different level. So the Tattva Bodha level is different and the Atma Bodha level is different. So they have different approaches by the same subject. So this is the subject matter of Atma Bodha. Now, I think the time is over. Yeah. So now, if you want to ask something regarding this, any technical doubt, you can ask. And by it means with the slokas from next session. So anything you want to ask regarding this, you can ask.
Arun Babu wants to ask a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
I have two questions. Today we talked about the Vedantic meditation we just touched upon. Just I wanted to know, is there any difference between Nididhyasanam and Vedantic meditation? That is the first part of the question. Then we also touched the liberation path and all. So is there any personality difference between two liberated person, or is it same personality? These are the two questions came into mind.
Yeah, good questions. This Nididhyasana, the word meaning itself is called, we can say it is meditation. When we say Dhyanam and Nididhyasana, both come from the same root. Okay, this is the technical terms. And this, what we discussed here, this meditation, this is part of that Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana comes after Sravana, after Manana. After Sravana, Manana, then comes Nididhyasana. So what you understood, you are meditating on that. Okay, so this is called Nididhyasana. Therefore, there is no difference between self-meditation, self-awareness, and Nididhyasana. Only technical terms are different. Okay. The second question is there any difference between two Jivan Muktas? They are realized souls. There is no difference. Because there is no two souls in that stage. So there is two bodies, two minds, two intellects, two egos, everything, those are all two. But there is no two selves. So in their experience, if you remember, when we discussed about deep sleep in Tattva Bodha, we took this point, how we experience oneness or limitlessness when there is no body, mind, awareness. Okay, when there is no body, there is no mind. It means we have no awareness. So there is no separation. The separating agents are these: body, mind, prana, ego, intellect, all this. Therefore, two Jivan Muktas, they never talk about self each other. This is interesting. We have seen in many Jivan Muktas stories, they never talk each other about the same thing, because they experience the same. So when we experience the same, we never talk about that. There is no question, there is no answer. So when we have different experiences, we try to describe, or we try to elaborate and our experience to others. So the others let others get what you experience. Right? Now, if you and me is experiencing the same, then there is no chance of second opinion. There is no need for a okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Swamiji, can you answer one more question?
Yeah, please.
Yes, Swamiji, will you please explain the root how this Atma is derived?
Root grammatical way.
Yeah, grammatical way. Yeah.
Yeah, that I will give you all the explanations and with the sloka quoted by Sankaracharya and everything is there.
Okay, then
I
it's
will
all
give
right.
you in the next class.
Okay, thank you.
So this class was an introduction. Therefore, I started with the self and the thought because this is a confusing thing. No, when we talk about Atma, people take the mind and the intellect, in that level.
Yeah.
So today we discussed, I think, the state of thought process and the state of self-awareness.
Thank you.
The other technical things we will discuss later.
Okay.
The next class. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Any other question anybody wants to ask? Yeah, there is another person wanted to ask. Trivedi. Yeah, Dhriti Trivedi. You can unmute and ask.
Hari Om Swamiji Pranam.
Hari Om Pranam. Yes.
Pranam. I keep getting confused in this word upadhi. I'm not sure if I'm understanding it right when you say upadhi is limiting adjunct. So in Hindi, if we were to see as upadhi, so like जैसे vastness like sky, like or the like sky. So the sky is a upadhi. Is this upadhi when we talk about these classes is similar or is it different?
Yeah, Ubadhi actually in Hindi and other Indian languages, we add this Ubadhi as a special, like a special thing you have achieved.
Drink.
If you are a doctorate, so you have a Ubadhi of doctorate. So you are a doctor, like that. So that is different. The other thing, when we talk about Upadhi, all the limiting adjunct, other than Atma, even Akasha is an Upadhi.
Yes.
Because Akasha has birth. Akasha is created according to Vedanta.
Yes.
So the Vayu is also created. So whatever created, for that creation, we need some limiting adjunct, some special character. The special character is called Janma, birth. So it can be sometimes some qualities, sometimes some actions. Okay. So anything can be. But it is limiting adjunct means the Akasha has a Shabda Guna. So Akasha has the quality of sound.
Yes.
So that itself is a limiting adjunct. Now sound is identified with Akasha. And touch is identified with Vayu.
Vayu, yes.
So this is called limiting adjunct. So each character, each object which has birth or which is produced has some limiting adjunct. If you take earth as an object, it has many limiting adjuncts. So this is how it is. Like all the 5 sheets, panchakoshas, are limiting adjuncts for us in different states. So it is like that. Limiting adjunct mean in generally by which we identify an object.
Yes.
So this is it can be in many form.
Yeah.
We cannot say specifically this is only this is a form. There are so many different forms in different levels.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, understood.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, Hariom. So I think today we can conclude. So happy to see everybody. So please do contemplate on previous classes, because as now today you have seen, I will be quoting from Atmabodha frequently, because what is already studied, we won't be discussing it again, but the summary will come, the essence of the study will come. But for specific understanding of technical terms, so you can just refer to Atmabodha. And this today what we thought discussed about this thought process, the difference between thought process and self-awareness, is very special subject of Vedanta and very deep subject. So please take it and try to analyze it. I think I succeeded in conveying you the idea. I think you understood something. So you take up this and contemplate on that. This is the Atma Bodha which we are going to discuss. Based on this, we are going to discuss. So therefore, it was little deeper level and to discuss this subject in the beginning of this class. But this is necessary for to continue with the Atmabodha. Okay. So Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all. Hari Om.